Hi guys and girls, Rose Burnett here from Mind, Body, Soul Balance, and I wanted to share a really special message with you today. And I know that some of you have been following my daily motivation clips, which I haven't actually done for, I think we're into week 2, yeah? And I kind of wanted to explain why, and it's because I've been going through personally some karmic healing myself. And you know, in terms of doing videos for YouTube, but for anything really, in terms of motivation, you've got to be in the right, not only headspace, but emotional as well as vibration, yeah. And for me, I just needed to take that time out, and I kind of wanted to explain to you why, but I also wanted to share a really special message. And I was walking along the beach today and been doing a lot of contemplation, a lot of releasing. And if you don't know, I not only read the tarot, I do a lot of energy healing, and I do it at a soul level, yeah? So I tap into people's chakras, but I also get right down into soul light and inner child. And in order to do that kind of work, I have to have a very high vibration and a very deep connection to not only my own spirituality, but to the divine collective consciousness, the angels, the beings of light that support us on this planet. And, you know, I've been going through an ascension process myself now for most of this year, and have really managed to connect into and pull back to me a lot of the past life memories from past lives, a lot of the divine gifts and talents, a lot of information and knowledge about where my soul line's been and where it's come from, and the capabilities in terms of energy healing and spiritual work that, you know, my soul light's capable of. And there's been so many aha moments, and I think probably over the last 2 weeks, what kicked it off is I went to a don't ever underestimate the power of energy healing, even if you work in the energy healing field. And I'm also talking to my beautiful, beautiful people out there that have connected with me in the Ascended Masters Lightworker community group. And I am going to post that up in our Facebook group as well, because I think it's such an important message. And I'm going to share with you today how I came about raising my vibration in terms, and how I've connected into the spirit guides, the angelic realm. And I can tell you there are many, many, many beings of lights and angels that we can tap into for help and support, particularly on here on Earth. I've got a lot more to share with you. But yeah, what tipped it off was that I went to a sound therapy session with one of the most world-renowned sound therapists, and his name's Shervin Bularan. I think I said that correctly. He works out of Bali in Ubud, but he used to work in the White House. He's got a fascinating story, and this is the 3rd session that I've had with him. And it was more of a group session, but what it did is, in terms of literally the next day, the next morning, I was having these massive. And, you know, for me, I thought I'd gone through a lot of my own healing journey. And often when you want to work as in light work or energy work, you often have to go and do a lot of your own healing first before you can heal anyone else. Yeah, so it's quite a journey. And, you know, in terms of myself, a lot of the issues that I've had in life, particularly in relationships, or also about how I felt about myself, have come back from family stuff in terms of how I grew up. And you know, that often happens. And if you've heard me speak before, you know, we come into this world, whether you're incarnated or born into this world. This is the only lifetime I've ever seen myself being actually born into. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You can check out my video in the inspirational playlist on my spiritual awakening if you want to check that out. I'm not going to go right into it here. But yeah, so there's been a lot of aha moments, and often when you get the aha moments of why you feel about things about yourself and of life, and you realize those moments of where it came from. So I had this big karmic download, childhood memories coming up, you know, the actual root causes came up. I could actually see the experiences that I went through as a child that had really imprinted on my psyche as well as my soul. And it can be deeply saddening, but it's also an absolute joy because you get to have understanding of why, and you get to release them. So that's what I've been going through. But more than that, this week, and I thought, well, hey, you know, normally these things, your energy can clear after about 3 days, but it's been continuing for 2 weeks. And this week has really been about a much higher level of connection into my divinity, my spirituality, past life coming back in terms of massive downloads of how many past lives I've had. And I'll tell you what, a lot of what instigated it is that I've been feeling, particularly in terms of my YouTube channel. Yeah, I posted up the the December readings, and I think probably this month there's been some fairly, I will say, nasty energies on my channel that I haven't appreciated. And I'll say overarchingly, everybody's usually pretty great, yeah. But there's been some nasty energies, and I've had to deal with those. But it kind of made me, not only sort of frustrated, but a bit down about how humanity treats each other. Did I still want to work with those energies? Because, you know, in terms of what I do on my channel, and most of us as tarot and oracle readers or give out these messages, for me it's about helping you in your daily life in terms of inspiring you and motivating you, yeah. Ideally getting to a higher vibration. And when you come across these kind of messages, it's an absolute lack of appreciation, yeah. There's a lot of, you know, and I know that the person and the people that are doing it are not in a great space, yeah, but they push those energies onto other people. And I guess I had a total, not so much frustration, but kind of sadness coming out in terms of, you know, if you're a light worker, you've often got a lot of angelic qualities within yourself. You know where your soul lights come from, yeah. And there's quite a lot of us here. There's quite a lot of us here. And I guess it kind of might sound to you that I'm talking in third person, but that's how high my vibration is to do this kind of work. And a lot of what came out, and particularly even yesterday, is I got masses and masses of downloads of a lot of those reasons why I was feeling like that is because I've witnessed and experienced that through many, many past lives of trying to help humanity, is how destructive humanity can be to each other. Yeah. And how do we impact that? How do we change that? I've seen that I've got this amazing, amazing amount of light energy that I can share with the world. Not only just an individual, but group, you know, like literally. Yeah, and there's a lot, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. And you know, that you have these instances where people come at you with this kind of energy and you go, well, is it really worth it? Do you know what I mean? And that's what I've kind of been going through. And I think for me, I'm also looking at working at a much higher level in terms of group stuff, in terms of reaching more people with what I do. And that's very much a personal decision, yeah. It comes from wanting to work in a very high vibration. It's not to say that I'm going to give up my YouTube channel. Absolutely not. Will I let people impact me like that? No, they get a pretty quick response, I have to be honest. They pretty much get blocked off my channel. And I'm sort of getting to the point where I don't even respond to it because you know, there's a collective of people that are not ready to hear a message, or there's expectations of what they think something's going to be, yeah. If you come along with expectations rather than being open to an experience, then you miss out on a whole lot, yeah. You absolutely miss out on a whole lot. And so I guess what I wanted to share that with you. And I can often get really, you know, open and honest and personal about what's going on in my life, and I think it helps me to connect with you as well, because we often can all go through sorts of things. One of the other thing that was really interesting that came up for me is the people that I was sort of attracting to me recently, and I realized that it was my vibration attracting them to me, and you know, things I hadn't released in terms of the past. So if you ever get, you know, and I think there's a lot of comments on my YouTube channel. I'll speak to you about it. Yeah, we'll speak to you about it now because it might help you with your day. In terms of relationships, you know, your love relationships, the type of people that you attract to, and if you're wondering, going, God, is that another one? Yeah, it's your vibration. You're drawing them to you. There's something you haven't cleaned up, and there was something I hadn't released. Something I hadn't released, a connection from the past I hadn't released from my heart space. Yeah. And so you can't actually go into another relationship without releasing that, because you can't give yourself fully to somebody and they can't give themselves fully to you. And I was attracting people to me that were exactly the same, yeah. So many attachments to the past, and it's so important. I think I've spent mostly this year releasing so many attachments from my energy field, from my aura, based not only karmically family, you know, a lot of family stuff I've been releasing. But a lot of stuff from past lives as well. And in terms of relationships, yeah, doing a lot of stuff around myself. But it's not that I'm going to say to you, hey, I'm intensely damaged. It's just a place of, you want to raise your vibration and work at the highest level possible in terms of finding peace and joy in your life. You have to take a really hard look at yourself. And some of that stuff can be deeply confronting because it can bring up sadness about how you've been treated in life by people, how you wish things had been different, but they never were. That's never going to change. Yeah, it's too late now. Yeah, it's never going to change, particularly if, you know, from childhood. But what you can do is then, you know, that whole art of forgiveness and all the rest of it is about releasing yourself from that, releasing the other person from that, because you can walk around and think about people in the way that they were 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 years ago. Yeah, that's not how they are now. You know, they've moved on from it. They're totally different people usually, or they might be still doing the same behaviours, but they're older. Yeah, you got to have a bit of compassion for them, but it's more about treating yourself with compassion and coming back to a place of peace and love. Yeah. My dog's just done a very big sigh there. He gets very comforted by my voice. So yeah, a lot of the stuff in terms of raising your vibration is about releasing yourself from all the old past memories that no longer serve you. And often we can go through a lot of experiences in life, and you know, life is about contrast. Yeah, it's about the highs and lows. If we were just in the middle, we wouldn't have experienced any of the highs nor the lows, nor been able to appreciate the highs. Yeah, and life isn't smooth. It's always a challenge. It's always about growth, and how you respond and react to things is how you grow. Yeah, you can either shrink from it and hold yourself back, or you can go, what did I just learn in that instance? So I don't repeat that experience, or I make it better in the future. Yeah. So let's talk about, because I get this question a lot, and I want to do a shout out to Doug, who's watching. I'm going to mention you, Doug. So yeah, you can put a big smile on your face if you like. I've worked with Doug for a couple of months now. We've done some energy healing work together, and he's made some amazing progress in one of his big dreams and goals. And I hope you don't mind me mentioning this, Doug. Nobody knows who you are. I'll put your first name, your last name up, but one of his big goals and dreams was to get back into acting, and he's gotten back into it, and he's got some amazing opportunities coming his way. But he's done that work on self. Yeah, he's absolutely been working so hard on himself in terms of, not hard on himself, but in terms of cleaning his stuff up and recognizing the healing that needs to take place, the letting go that needs to take place. And that can be anyone. That applies to anyone, including me. Yeah, it applies to me as well. And so let me talk to you about, and I can only share with you my own experiences in terms of ascension, my own experiences of tapping into my divinity, spirituality, the angelic realm. How do you get to a high vibration? First up, it's not just one thing. Yeah. So my journey started 3 years ago. Absolutely. I was walking along the beach thinking it's almost exactly 3 years ago since I started my healing journey. And sometimes it can take that long. Yeah. You know, in terms of, for me, it was a relationship breakdown that just opened my eyes up into how aspects of my life weren't working. You know, it was just a pivotal point, really. It could have been another trigger, but that's what life gave to me, yeah, as a big wake-up call. And I've been very appreciative of the universe who watches over me, because they're always watching my back, yeah, always watching my back. And they sent me a message this week, and it was so blatantly obvious, yeah. And it was so beautiful of them about a certain person, and they gave me insights into something I wasn't seeing at all. It was right in my face. It was so beautiful of them to be watching over me. And often, the reason I mention this is often that with a challenge, it's the universe watching over you. They know what's going on behind your back, what you're not seeing. They know what's not working in your life, and they're trying to get you onto a path that's going to work better for you. There are things that you're possibly not recognizing or being able to see clearly in your life that are tripping you up. I've probably only had 2 clients, I'd probably say to you, where I've done energy healing work with them, and the energy healing work has worked, but they're still stuck, yeah? And the reason that they're still stuck is they're not facing the truths in their own life, and we can often do that. And until you actually face the truths in your own life, what happens is that the universe keeps giving you bigger challenges, yeah, until they stop you dead in your tracks with something really significant. And they did that to me 3 years ago. So what happens is, if you miss the small signals and you still have got your blinkers on, or you're ignoring it, or you're pushing it down, the universe is going to give you a big wake-up call, yeah? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And it's about being really honest with yourself in terms of your ascension progress, and process is what's not working well in my life, what's consistently tripping me up, what do I have to clean up? Because to get into the highest vibration possible, you have to heal yourself, and you're most capable of it. There's plenty of ways to reach out and do all sorts of things to help support you through that process. But you're responsible for your own healing, yeah? And you're responsible for figuring out what's not working well in your life. What behaviors are you doing with other people? What behaviors are you doing with your finances, with your health, your well-being, whatever it is, with your children, whatever aspect of your life that's not turning out quite so rosy? What are you actually doing that's contributing to that? And often a lot of that stuff, when you start unraveling it, is things of experiences that have dented you along the way. It can be, like myself, family stuff that's imprinted on you and ways of being that you were never meant to be. Yeah. So don't ever beat yourself up about those kinds of things. So raising your vibration is one at a core level. I'll bring it back to physicality. So, you know, we've got 4 different levels. This is the way I look at it. We've got our physical body, yeah. So our body shape, our nutrition, our exercise, yeah. How we look after ourselves physically, our health and well-being. We've got our mind, which can do all sorts of things for us. Mostly it makes just a lot of racket in our head and can hold us back significantly in life. We've got our soul, which is our soul light as well as our inner child, who we incarnate into every lifetime. We will always have the same soul light, yeah? It's who you are. You can definitely bring more knowledge and experience through with your soul light. Your soul light, from what I've seen, is an energy healer. It doesn't change, but life can change it. You can allow life to change how you feel about yourself, but your soul light intrinsically within you is always there, and it's always the same. And I can tell you, it's of the highest vibration it wants to be. Your inner child can definitely get damaged, but it can be healed. Absolutely can be healed. It takes a bit of work. So there's that level, and then there's the spiritual level, your divinity, working from your crown chakra, working from your third eye chakra, which is your intuition. And we always have those capabilities to trust in life, trust in our intuition to guide us. It's more than your mind, yeah? It's way above your mind. Your intuition is your internal GPS system that guides you in terms of how you flow with your soul light, yeah? It's about keeping in alignment with your soul light of who you are at the core. What's in your heart space, what lights you up the most joyfully, yeah? What are your natural gifts and talents are attached to your soul light. And your divinity is the connection to spirit, universal, divine, light source energy. And I've seen it, and it's amazing. It's amazing. It goes way beyond you could ever imagine it goes. So when I first started my journey, there was a lot of healing to be done. I did, like, you know, the counselling and all the rest of it in terms of when I first started, because I had a marriage that broke down from third-party situation. Not going to go into it, yeah, but it just, yeah, kind of broke the foundations of me for a while, yeah. But that was my trigger. There was a lot of other triggers as well, but that was my big trigger. And then I got into, you know, doing stuff for myself in terms of healing, and I got an interest in terms of energy healing came through to me, and this is kind of the stirrings of me, and I'd always had an interest in spirituality for sure and personal development. And so I started my journey of raising my own energy vibration with Reiki energy healing. I learnt the first level, and then I did psychic development, which allowed me to tap into I'm going to share something with you, super important, with my immediate spirit guides, yeah? So often when you start out, your first spirit guides, the ones that are closest around you, will come to you. Anyone can do it. Often it's just about watching, like YouTube's got quite a lot of guided meditations on how to bring in your spirit guides, yeah? Some people, they'll come to you straight away. Mine came instantly because I was ready for it, yeah? And I think I've always been highly spiritual. So I've known since the age of 6 in this incarnation that there was something different about me in terms of my connection to spirituality. I never shared it with anyone for a long time, yeah. Probably not until the last 3 years, I think. But yeah, so I've always kind of had that connection, but my spirit guides came straight through to me, and 3 came through at the time. And one was called John, who's more of an elder, and two other forms came through, but I could see one of them, which was a female. There were two females that came through, and I couldn't quite see the other one that clearly. Um, so the third one did come through to me later on in terms of doing the second level Reiki. And so they were my immediate spirit guides, but I've also always felt a deep connection to Archangel Michael, and I think we all do, for that protection. Yeah, so I was working with those four. Um, and as I did right up to level 3 in terms of Reiki energy healing. I was supposed to do master level, I haven't quite got around to it yet. Yeah, but you actually learn everything you need to know in terms of an energy healer up to level 3. Level 4 is really about teaching other people. So you already mastered everything that you need to know about Reiki at level 3. I also did the basic level of sound therapy. I love doing sound therapy myself in terms of engaging in it for healing, self-healing. And I started working. So with Reiki energy healing, you have to heal yourself for 21 days straight and practice on yourself. Well, I never stopped. Most amazing practice ever. Just beautiful. That in itself raises your vibration, allows you to heal a lot more. A lot of it is about releasing stuff out of your body, your memories, your chakras, in terms of attachments. Yeah. You've got to do that personal healing that you need to do. One of the other massive things for me was looking after my physicality. 3 years ago, I was close to 30 kilos overweight. I'm in the best shape of my life now. I lost it all, and more than I thought I ever would. Yeah. And physical fitness, I exercise 6 days a week. That in itself, that level of being in peak physical fitness will take your vibration off the charts. So you've got to keep that in mind. Yeah, it's not just on one level, it's multiple levels. So how you look after your physical health, and I didn't do any sort of weird dieting or anything. It's just all natural, and the most natural way for me, in terms of if you can get what you consume to the most unprocessed, natural possible way you can, and drink lots of water, obviously. That doesn't mean that you can't have fun with food and indulge and enjoy yourself, yeah, but it's about consistently coming back to a place of being very mindful and looking after yourself, yeah. When you look after yourself, it means that you love yourself a lot more, yeah. So a lot of the work that I did was around raising my sense of self-love and self-worth, because it's been dented by my childhood, absolutely impacted by it. And I think we can all go through those experiences, yeah. And it's about realizing why you feel like you do and where has it stemmed from. And when you work out where it stemmed from, you can release it, yeah. And be who you're meant to be, who you've always been, who your soul light's always been in every past life, including this one. Depending on whether or not you believe in past lives, and so it is a journey. It is a journey, and the more that you unravel about yourself, yeah. What's most funny is that you think, oh, I think I've done it. I think I'm right now. I think I've healed. Yeah. Something else comes along and you go, oh, yeah, maybe not. I might have a smidge more to do. Yeah. And that's what it's like. It's like a roller coaster ride of more little things that you got to clean up. Yeah. But you come to a much better place. One of the things I think that's been most integral in connecting to divinity, like I work a lot with crystals. I'm not great at meditation. I love guided meditation because I can literally just relax. And a lot of it is based on sound therapy, sound vibration, which goes right in deep into cellular level, yeah, to heal and release. It's a fabulous medium to work with. So check out Lisa Watley's channel on YouTube. She does the most amazing ones. I use them all the time, so I totally recommend her. I have no affiliation with Lisa apart from the fact that she is amazing, yeah, amazing. I'll put that link down below for you. So it's about doing a whole lot of natural therapies. I went off and did a retreat, at the darkest moments, which helped me enormously to make my eyes open up to the possibilities, not only about health and wellness, but also, some of the issues that I needed to face and be truthful about in my life that weren't working. And I think a lot of it is about being truthful with yourself about what's not working. But it's just a healing journey, and it takes as long as it takes, yeah. It depends how much baggage you've got to get out. Do you know what I mean? And the more that you can release all this stuff out of your cells, your chakras, your mind, your memories, yeah, the more you can get it out of your system. And often it's about going, we constantly cut attachments and cords to ourselves, and it's very much a mindset thing where you go physically in your head. mentally in your head going, I'm done with that now. I'm not going to recycle through that anymore. It's not serving me whatsoever. You'll recognize the relationships in your life that are not serving you. They're dragging you down. It's about cleaning all of that stuff up. Your vibration significantly keeps rising. One of the other, there's a couple of things, I'll get to them, but in terms of environment is so important. This is so important, this message, in terms of raising your vibration, is creating the most positive environment to live in. What I mean by that, your home. Are you comfortable in your home? Is it positive for you? Do you feel like it's an oasis? And it doesn't have to be amazing, right? But it has to be comfortable, and it has to light you up, joyful, and you have to feel good in it, because you spend a lot of time there. Pretty it up if you need to pretty it up. Find a space that you are joyful in, even if it's the suburb that you're in. Yeah, does the suburb light you up? You know, are there places that you can go that make you so joyful in nature? One of the other things in terms of your environment is, are the friendships that you've got, do they drag you down or do they support you? Are there people in your family that you need to put boundaries in place with to protect yourself so that you can live a joyful life? For me, it's also, I try and, you know, actively work on avoiding situations that are highly negative. Yeah, and that can include being like, I can pretty much now block out in terms of even sitting at a cafe because of my empathic ability and my high vibration. I found it very difficult to sit and hear conversations going around me that are highly negative. I've actually managed to block it out now a lot. But it's also, I don't read newspapers, I don't watch the news, because for me it's all negative, and every time I do, something triggers, because a lot of the stuff is highly negative. Yeah, it's about trauma. A lot of it's about trauma to other people. And you know, I've come to the realization that for me personally, while people go, oh, how could you do that, you're not keeping up with what's happening in the world, you know, literally none of it affects my world. If you really think about it, none of it affects your world either. You can have sympathy and empathy for situations, but one-on-one every day, none of that stuff affects your world except to drag you down. But that's my personal choice, yeah. But it's about being very mindful of what you're consuming. Yeah, books, newspapers, TV, media, shows. What are you consuming? Is it raising your vibration or is it dragging it down? So that's one of the things that I do personally. So what do I do in those instances? Well, you know, I do a lot of creative work, so that joyfully lights me up. I do guided meditations with my doggy. He loves it. Yeah, I have a very busy life. Yeah, spend time with family and friends that make me absolutely joyful. I spend a lot of time out in nature, and I spend a lot of time putting my body, my self-worth first. My health and wellness is the first thing I do every day. Is I either at the gym exercising, or I'm doing yoga, or I'm down at the beach walking. And I'll go for reasonably long walks, yeah, or out in nature, yeah. All of those things in terms of connecting with your spirituality, I mean, they're a great place for you to vent, release, get rid of stresses from day to day, which is so important, bringing your balance back. But it's also an open channel to talk directly to spirit, absolutely, because there's no impediments to that pureness of nature. The ability to directly talk to your angels, your spirit guides, to divinity, to ask for help for what you need in your life. Yeah. So let me share with you in terms of vibrations, how many spirit guides are up there. And I'm sure that there are I know that there's definitely other people that have got a very high vibration that know what's up there. Yeah. So I often, my first impression, what I thought was, well, my spirit guides are my spirit guides. Yeah. So I thought, well, I've got 4. Yeah. And through my spiritual awakening process, I've come to realize how many spirit guides and angels I've worked with through past lives. Some a lot from Star Sirius, if you can look that up, Star Sirius. Not Pleiades for me, Star Sirius, yeah. So there's lots of gods that we work with and have worked with in terms of the angelic realm. The divine collective consciousness, if you hear that term, you're going, what is the divine collective consciousness? Well, it is the angels and beings of light surrounding us on this planet. Hundreds of thousands of them, from all sorts of, I'm going to say to you, civilizations in the realms beyond the realms, from the angelic world, hundreds of thousands of beings of light working together to help humanity. It's their core purpose. What's beyond that? The realms beyond the realms, the civilizations beyond the civilizations. So many cultures, so many civilizations, much more ancient ever than Earth. So much more ancient ever than Earth. They all work collectively together, and some of you are from those places. Absolutely, you're incarnated here. I've worked with quite a few people where their soul lights come from the realms beyond the realms. They often have very, very ancient wisdom to bring to this world to help us out. Absolutely. So if you say to me, well, how is this possible, and how come I can only see my spirit guides? Well, you've got to keep raising your vibration. You've got to keep your connection into your divinity and work on it. For me, it's a daily thing. Yeah, it's a daily thing. It's part of my energy work, but it's part of who I am, which I'm starting to recognize and accept. Yeah. And whether you believe me or not, it's up to you entirely. I'm not here to convince you of anything. Actually, I'm just sharing my story. I don't care if you think I'm cuckoo. It has no impact on me. I just know what I know from a place of, I guess you could say, inner knowing. But yeah. But it's a beautiful journey if you want to go on that journey. It is the most enlightening place to be, to live, to know that. And, it's about doing stuff that helps when you get to those high vibrations, if that's the path you want to follow. You probably already know that within yourself. And if that is you, please join my Ascended Masters Lightworker community group, because we could do with you in there. It's about wanting to live in a world where we're not being damaging to each other. Yeah, live in a world where, I walk around and there are so many people that are overweight and in unhappy relationships and unhappy with life, and it saddens me. It does sadden me, because I think there are so many better ways that we could be doing this. But that's an individual choice for every person. And it's up to you how you choose to live each day, how you show up each day. How do you want to live? Do you want to be joyful, happy, in great shape? Do you want to live life to the full? Do you want to have a beautiful family life with people that you adore, that adore you? What are you doing in your world that's not working for you, that you want to change? Yeah. But I will say that the path in terms, and I'm non-religious, so I don't, I've always been like that. I've always been non-religious, but I'm spiritual. Yeah. My connection is to Gaia, Mother Earth. My connection is to the angelic realms. Connection to God, absolutely. Hello. For sure. For sure. But there's more than that out there. Do you know what I mean? There's absolutely so many beings of light and so many things that are still being revealed to me. But yeah. I think, and if I can share with you one of the messages that came through, and it's just so fascinating, and I'm going to get there, right? I'm going to get to Egypt. But one of the most fascinating things is that the pyramids, I think we're totally fascinated by the pyramids. I know I am. And I know in a past life I've worked in them, yeah. I've worked there with Isis by my side. Part of my spiritual awakening was writing the Akashic records back then. But the pyramids were the first start of the conscious awareness of a much higher level of spirituality in our world, a much higher level of cognizance, I think, around ancient wisdom on earth. Yeah. And it's such a fascinating era, and a lot of us our soul lights have been through Egypt. Yeah, absolutely. Often if you do like past life regression and stuff like that, a lot of you will have a past life in Egypt. It's kind of so fascinating. I love it. But yeah, so I guess I kind of wanted to open you up to the possibilities. Yeah. Of how far you can go with it in terms of your spirituality, your connection to your divinity. I find it one of the most comforting things in my life. And I think I'm very attuned now to the messages coming through from spirit, in terms, because I can channel into anybody's soul light, yeah. And people go, even people that know me go, I don't know how you do it. I go, well, I'm not sure I can explain it to you. It's energy based, yeah. But we can all connect with each other. We can all talk to each other intrinsically just through energy. Absolutely, you can. How many times have you thought about somebody and next minute they're on the phone? You send them that message. Subliminally, you've sent them that message. But yeah, so tap me up if you've got any questions. I know, like, what have we done? Like 34 minutes. It was such an important message to share in terms of, you know, what are the basic things you can do to raise your vibration, connect with your divinities, be open to it, open to the possibilities. For sure, absolutely try and do a guided meditation on connecting with your spirit guides, because that's the first step, yeah, connecting with the immediate spirit guides that are around you. Certainly working on your health and well-being, being in the most positive mindset you possibly can, pulling yourself up when you're negative and going out and balancing and grounding yourself in nature if you can, or yoga or guided meditations or quiet time out for self, whatever it is for you. You know, it's about doing some of those activities that are natural therapies, kinesiology, guided meditation groups that do the singing crystal bowls. Yeah, the crystal singing bowls. They're amazing for vibration. Yeah, journaling's beautiful. So that will cost you nothing, particularly if you've got stuff you need to get out of your system and vent about. But it's also about writing down your hopes and your goals and your dreams and any channeled messages that come through to you. And I'm going to say to you, how do you trust if a message comes through to you, how do you trust that it's real? Because we can often let our ego get in the way and our mind get in the way. The quicker it comes back to you, it's directly from spirit, right? So for me, often I'll ask a question or I'll start asking it. They've already answered it. And I'm going, well, okay, well, that was quick. Do you know what I mean? I know it's directly from them. For me, often when I'm out in nature and I'm talking directly to spirit, they will literally, it'll be peaceful and calm, right? The sun will come out really strongly. The light will come out and just shine down on me. The wind will start blowing my hair out, yeah. And I know that they're there. I know that they're there. Yeah, you can get all sorts of messages, but it's attuning to the sound beneath the sounds when you're out in nature. And what do I mean that? It's about blanking out suburbia and listening for all the things that you wouldn't normally hear, like the insects, the birds, you could literally, you know, you can get to a point, particularly if you're somewhere where there's lots of birds, you'll be able to hear their wings flapping as they're going past, yeah. It's about listening to the wind through the leaves on the trees. That is how you want to get into your vibration, yeah. And being very grateful about life, your life, what's working well. But yeah, so get out in nature as much as you can. And it's not something that can be forced. So don't think, oh, this week I'm going to connect into my spirit guides. I hope it works. I hope it helps. You know, you can. It's something that happens over time. So you've got to be gentle with it. I don't think I ever had an agenda with it. It just sort of evolved for me. Yeah, if you can get that kind of message, it just evolved. The more I went into it and the more that I changed my life around it. Yeah, changed my life around it, particularly in terms of health and wellness, putting myself first, knowing what I want in life. You get a lot more clarity as you go along about what joyfully lights you up. It's about listening to your internal GPS system to guide you. There's also a whole thing about heart over head, right? Not head over heart. When you start trusting and having more faith in the universe about the things that joyfully light you up and you follow those, even though you don't know that they're going to work out, having faith and trust in the universe that you're on the right path. If not, they'll guide you and correct your path. Yeah, absolutely. It's about knowing that what your soul wants is what is good for you. Yeah, and to trust that, because that's who you are at a core level, whether other people agree with that or not. You don't need, this is the most important thing I'm going to say to you today, you do not ever need anyone else's permission or validation in life to do what lights you up joyfully, right? And I'm not talking about doing things that are damaging in terms of self, but I mean totality of following what's most important to you, what holds value for you in your heart space and aligns with your flow in life. Because you'll know when you're going against your flow, right? It's going to be a hard slog. You're not enjoying what you're doing. When you're going in flow with life, you don't need permission from parents. You don't need permission from partners, children. You only need yourself. You have full spiritual authority over yourself to follow whatever is in your heart that you want to do. If you're reaching out and asking other people for their permission or for their validation, I'm going to say to you that the only person that can give you that is you. Yeah, you don't need it from anyone else. And it's just fear and doubt when you're in that headspace asking other people for their advice. It's about becoming more empowered. And I think that's one of the most joyful things about my work. And one of the biggest reasons I do it is to help other people feel empowered, to have the courage, the strength, the faith in themselves to step into their path. All right. Much love, much light. Namaste.